Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
The truth shall set you free. You can't handle the truth. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
That's not how the Force works.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
I'd buy that for $1.
Hasta la vista, baby.
This woman has to be gotten to a hospital.
A hospital? What is it?
It's a big building with patients. That's not important right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Hello and welcome to the Creative Control Movie Podcast, brought to you by Zito's Gang, where we reshape cinema for the better. I'm your host, Kenan Akbar, and thank you for joining us for episode 11. Joining me on today's show, we have Neil the Treatment and Alex the Underestimated. Also today we have Solomon from Zito's Gang Podcast joining us. Welcome, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I have to come up with nicknames for everybody. So I'm like the treatment, Neil the Treatment. I think that just says it all. So today's episode is the second of a two-part special that we're doing on the X-Men in the MCU. So in the last episode, episode 10, we discussed how we would introduce the X-Men into the MCU. So if you've not seen that episode yet, you might want to stop, go back and listen to the previous episode. So you're all caught up. It's okay, we'll wait. Don't worry. Great, thanks for coming back. Right, so we're going to get straight into it. So where this is on the basis, obviously, a completely fresh slate. The only probably caveats to this is obviously if somebody's already played somebody in the MCU before. Not that we haven't had a couple of characters probably do a couple of different minor roles, but there's also mocap and all that can kind of get away with it. But I think what we'll probably do is I'll give a character, you give your ideas. If you haven't come up with one, because there's a whole list of characters, and then as we get towards the end, if you've got ideas characters we haven't mentioned yet, then we'll kind of come up with those. So this is an episode where we should get loads of comments in the comment section, so we're interested to see who agrees with what. So
one character you're gonna name and everybody's gonna be pissed no matter
exactly this could make or break the series, you know.
Everyone is gonna be pissed no matter who gets picked.
That's it. Just start seeing those subscribe numbers just going down. Right, okay, I'm going to start with the leader of the X-Men, and I say leader as in Cyclops. Our Grandmaster General, who have we got for Cyclops in the new MCU?
I was flirting with the idea of a bunch of people, but I feel like for those who obviously, watched or listened to our last episode, they should know my story kind of focuses on, to a degree, on Cyclops.
Yeah, and his brother. Right? So,
there needed to be a bit of a name for him, and I chose Zac Efron.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because I feel like he's at that point where he's a big enough name that the knowledge that he's in it would draw people to watch it, but he's not a big enough name that it would drown out him playing this role. Yeah.
You always have that worry of, in terms of this cast of characters, going too big with somebody and then overshadowing the rest, because it's really going to be important about sharing screen time for these characters. So,
because I think perfectly example is like The Rock is Black Adam, right? Now most non-comic book orientated people don't know who Black Adam is, but everyone in the world knows who The Rock is. I mean, literally, it was like in the news today, he is the most followed man on Instagram in America.
Yeah.
Right? And I think like when the Black Adam film is finished and comes out, no matter who you are, if you are not into comic books, you're not going to be like, oh, wow, Black Adam, that's cool. You'll be like, yeah, that's The Rock. The Rock's cool.
The Rock's cool. I'm going to go see The Rock. Yeah. Did you have any other names, or was Zac Efron your choice?
I did have another one, but he was, I wanted him more for another character as well, was Decree Montgomery. I think, I hope I'm not butchering
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Stranger Things.
Yeah. I had him down as Johnny Storm. And when we cast
we did
Fantastic Four. Yeah.
Well, I was like, when I was literally, because I was going through lists, like for casting, IMDb has been my friend, right? And I've just been going through. I was like, oh, what was that thing I saw someone in? And I go to that point. Yeah, him. I think he's on the cusp of something great. He's like a James Dean type.
He is a great talent. Yeah, yeah. Okay, Alex, who'd you go for?
I went for Army Hammer, because I feel like he just hasn't hit the big time yet. Obviously, Lone Ranger was going to be the one for him. Obviously, I know he was basically going to be Batman before.
He was.
You know, that Justice League project fell apart. So I just feel like, yeah, okay, let's head him up as leader of the X-Men.
Cool.
Finally get him off.
Yeah, I see that. Simon, what do you have?
I was thinking of something really ridiculous, but I was thinking of Superman as the leader, as in what's his name? The
Henry
new
Cavill?
one. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I've seen him recently, and he's moved away, and he's not pushing the Superman angle anymore because, well, he's done with it. Let's put it that way. And that said, it kind of plays with the crowd at the same time as it kind of plays with everybody else. That he was Superman in the movie, now he's playing this, and it works perfectly fine because it hasn't been shoved into that Superman image at all. Because I think he's more famous for his Mission Impossible and a bunch of other films than Superman now. Not then, but now.
Cool.
That's really it.
Okay, so I went for Army Hammer as well, as my top choice. When I was looking at casting, I kind of went for that mid-30s range for most of the main cast. So that's kind of where I'm at. Army Hammer's still only 34. So what I was doing is like trying to get the actors around the same age to then somebody who's like Iceman, probably a little bit younger, Beast a little bit older, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, Army Hammer, like Alex said, he has the potential to be that tentpole actor, but it hasn't happened for him. And I think, you know, Lone Ranger, it wasn't a bad film, but you know, he's up against Johnny Depp, and even though he was the Lone Ranger, he wasn't the main star of the movie. You know, it was Johnny Depp trying to steal all the scenes and stuff like that. So and you know, he was great in like The Social Network and some of his early stuff. So and he's got that new one where it's that remake, trying to think of the movie now. It's that Netflix movie where he is Becca, that's the one.
Rebecca. Yeah, the Alfred Hitchcock remake.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock, that's the one I'm thinking of. And so, you know, so he's there or thereabouts. He's got the acting chops, but yeah, that one for me. The only other one I had potentially, because I'm thinking of someone who you believe can lead a lot of people, it was Kit Harington. Whether, you know, because, you know, he took on the White Walkers, this, that, and the other, became that king, and everyone gravitated towards him. And I was like, yeah, you know, you could see a team gravitating towards him as well, you know, in terms of the way he might be able to lead people. So he was my backup choice. And again, similar age, like 33. Right. So who do we have for Jean Grey?
I have no idea how to pronounce her last name, but her first name is Alexandria. I think it's Daddario.
Oh, Dario, the one from
Daddario. Ah, yes. I have her as somebody else, actually. She was in Baywatch. She was in True Detective. She was in San Andreas.
Yeah.
As well, stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah, because I have it down for somebody else. So, okay.
Because I think for me, I've like, for the most part, I've done slightly different to you. I've gone ever so slightly younger than who you've picked. Because I don't want mid-30s. I want younger because I kind of want there to be a distinctive difference between what we got in the run-up to the X-Men, in the run-up to the Avengers, where all of these people are adults. I think with the exception of Spider-Man, the person who we really and truly were told was like the youngest person involved in this was pretty much Captain America or Black Widow, because Captain America is like, he's roughly about 22, 23 years old when he becomes Captain America.
Yep.
And we clearly get told that Black Widow is in her, like, she's like born in 1985, so that makes it in her mid-30s. But it's like, I kind of wanted them younger, so I wanted it to be that Sort of like the Avengers are figuratively and literally the old guard.
Right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
all of these guys are like, they're like your, I wanted to say fresh out of college type things. Like obviously you have certain people who are definitely older, but I wanted it more like your kind of fresh out of college type individuals, as opposed to you're a grown adult, you should be in like the working world.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm.
Who else do we have for Jean Grey?
I've gone for Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld.
2 for 2.
Somebody stole somebody else's homework.
I just like you see her in that show, and you just know that if they decide to finally go Phoenix route, which you hope won't do too soon, but she can definitely do, the sort of the standard goody.
Yeah, because Westworld, she shows
go
that
dark when she needs to go dark. But
yeah, so Westworld, she has those two sides to it, right? She's got that really sweet, soft personality, and she's got a really dark side as well. So, yeah, she was my choice, and my only other one was Lily James from Baby Driver. So she's around the age 31 as well. Evan Rachel Wood, again, 33, similar to Armie Hammer, and I thought that might be a really good pairing, those two. So yeah, interesting. Sal, who'd you have?
Well, I've been watching The Boys a lot recently, and this actress, I'm trying to remember her name, and let me just read it out loud if I can. It'll be a lot easier than trying to remember. And that is, come on, where are you? Sorry, I can't seem to find the name. Oh, there it is. So the actress is actually called Dominique McGillett.
Right. She plays Queen.
Queen Maeve.
Queen Maeve. Yeah.
Exactly. So everybody in this show kind of plays the goody good, but at the same time pretty bad and pretty in your face or subtle. She's very subtle compared to the others, but she's she does both roles. So which is a lot of fun to watch, and that's the reason why I like her. And I think she would be pretty good in this one, in this particular type of role.
Interesting. Okay.
Out of the blue, you guys haven't watched The Boys yet, I'm guessing.
Oh, I've seen The Boys.
Yeah. Just watched the finale the other day.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's gonna be the new tag show for this podcast, I think. Control. I can do whatever I want. Right. So let's move on to Iceman. Has anyone cast Iceman?
Yeah, I had a couple of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
One was Josh Hutcherson, who I think was from the Hunger Games. He was or whatever in the Hunger Games. He was also in a little show called Future Man. I don't know if anyone saw like the Seth Rogen produced thing where it's a comedy
crazy show.
He can kind of do that, the sort of the humor that I think that Bobby would have.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my main choice, and this would only be if all this Spider-Verse talk doesn't happen, would be Andrew Garfield. I think he's got that sort of the Spidey quips is kind of how I always imagined Iceman as well. But obviously, if this Spider-Verse thing happens, then technically he'll already be in the MCU as Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a possibility. But those were my two picks.
Okay.
I had only one person in mind. Let's see if I can pronounce his name correctly. Kian Johnson.
Kian Johnson.
He is I guess you could say the love interest in Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I know who you mean.
Because I'm like, as I said, like for my version, like Iceman is a character you'll meet in the first film, but he is not going to get any level of real development until the second one. Mm-hmm. So I just want someone who, like, you see him and it's because I haven't seen enough of him, but from what I saw of him watching Aaliyah, I was like, yeah, you can do it. Like, you're slightly younger than the rest of the people I have involved, but you're not so much younger than them that it's like Avengers Spider-Man type deal. It's you're younger than them and by enough that you clearly have to grow into yourself, but not so much younger that it's like they're gonna undermine you at every turn.
Okay, cool. So did you cast Iceman?
Really? I mean, I could. Well, like, I haven't thought of anybody. I think the thing is, every time you've seen Iceman in movies or comic books, it really depends how much they put him in the movie, because they barely did in any of them. And it took me hours trying to remember who it was, even though I was looking through the cast listing, I couldn't figure out who it was until I'm like, oh yes, that was the guy. So they really couldn't think of anything because it all depends on the fact that if they actually have a character that is significant enough in the movie, then I would have a pick. Otherwise, it could be anybody really, just to fill a screen for a while. That's it really. And that was my really take on it.
I went slightly different for Iceman. So I went for Jerome from When They See Us and Moonlight. And I think that this is a real opportunity now. You know, regardless of maybe diverse casting, you could argue either way, but depending on how they're going to go with Iceman, in the comics, obviously they made the character gay, so it'll be interesting to see if they do that for the film. Now, depending on how much Marvel want to push it, you could either have sort of like a white actor playing a gay part, whether they're playing gay in the movie or not. I think it's a real opportunity for them to do that. Or do you have a black character playing that role as a gay character? So you've got a couple of different opportunities there. But for me, I thought it was just an opportunity to have a little bit more diverse casting in this role, because trouble is when you look at the X-Men, it's a very white team.
Yeah, I literally, as I was going through trying to cast, I'm thinking, actually, Jesus.
Exactly.
Do I try and do I do a sort of a switch up in race, or as you're going through, like, Christ, there's a lot of white people in the X-Men.
Yeah, exactly. And so I started thinking about the character traits, and again, I wanted somebody younger than Cyclops and Jean and stuff like that to have that little bit of immaturity in the team and stuff like that. So the actor's like 23. He can definitely play younger if needed. And I think he has got a bit about him. You know, he's played some very dramatic roles, but when you actually see him in his interviews, he is actually very jovial and stuff like that. So you've got that side to him as well. So yeah, so he was Gerard Jerome. He was my pick for Iceman. Right, let's go on to Beast. Who do we have as Beast?
One person in my mind, and I only want this person, and I don't care what they've been cast in or what they're supposed to be in, anything else. Jeffrey Wright.
He was my number two.
Jeffrey Wright. I'm like, damn it, that man is like watching him as Bernard in Westworld. Like the way his glasses are just sitting on his nose.
I was going to say, yeah, the glasses. It's just you can just sit there.
You can hear the voice, right? You can hear the voice, the purity, the intelligence in his voice. Yeah.
I was just like, just watching it. I was like, paint this man blue, give him a little fur collar. We
got. The only reason I didn't pick him is he's also cast as the Watcher in the MCU.
Oh, yeah, but he's the voice.
But that's just to be for the animated show at the moment.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see whether they incorporate that into the movies later on. But I can understand why they picked again for that voice for that. But my pick was because again I want to go mocap pretty much for Beast. Pretty much how they've done the Hulk. So I want him to have his side before he turns into Beast. I want him to be older. I want him to have again that different level of maturity. I think for me when they did the reboot, he was too young to be that smart. I want somebody who's just got just that more wisdom about them and stuff like that. So I actually went for Bryan Cranston.
I got him in there somewhere
as Beast. Yeah. So I thought he's probably a bit too on the nose to play some of the other characters, and I think for him as an actor, he'd prefer doing the voice work in a movie of this style compared to a physical presence throughout the movies. Because I think once for me Beast changed, he stays that way, and he's going to be quite big, almost Hulk size for me. you know, but then he has that gentle nature about his voice and stuff like that. So I expect him to be a bigger member of the team, and then he can be that savage when he needs to be. So yeah, Bryan Cranston for me.
I was thinking Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys remember him from Walking Dead or Supernatural?
Yeah.
Because he has the same thing. He has a great voice.
Yeah.
I'd be in position somewhere else.
Because he has a great voice. I mean, he can be very calming. Listen to it. He can be, same time, very scary.
Yeah.
You know? And he's a big guy. I mean, the guy's like 6.5 foot tall. So there you go. You want a beast, you got a guy who's already massive, and you can just easily make him do it. And I think now you can easily say that because seeing his work, he can do it as well, which is kind of fun because it was drastically different between his, you know, Supernatural, a bunch of other shows that he's done in The Walking Dead.
Cool. All right, good shout. Alex, who do you have?
I went with Joel Edgerton.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so if you did want to go like prosthetics, obviously he's done that already in Bright with Will Smith on Netflix. So he's used to the full body thing. And again, he's just got, I don't know, there's just something about him that whenever I see him talking in interviews, he's clearly an intelligent guy. And so he's just, I just feel like he's got that sort of that sort of wisdom behind his voice and that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know why he just popped into my head.
Well, that's a good shout. Because he's been in quite a few films. Like he was in like the Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Great Gatsby, I think, you know. So he's had a lot of minor roles, you know. So yeah, it'd be a really good opportunity for him. Good shout. Right, let's move on. So how about Angel? Has anybody cast Angel?
Yeah.
Part of the original squad.
Oh, you picked the first team.
Oh, first team, exactly, bro.
First team.
Uncanny. So who'd you have, Alex?
For Angel, I went number one pick, I think Dan Stevens. He was in Legion, obviously, which is also, I know, sort of X-Men.
Wait a minute, wasn't he one? Wasn't he Angel already? No, who was Angel?
You had Ben Foster.
Ben Foster, that one.
In X3.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, because they both look like a skinny, tall, blonde guys. Sorry.
Again, I was thinking with the whole Angel character, again, I'm thinking about, okay, you play him sort of like the good, straight-laced Angel when he starts off, but you need someone that can also turn on the dark side if you decide to go down the sort of Apocalypse and Archangel route.
Yeah.
Seeing what Dan Stevens does on Legion.
Yeah,
I know. Obviously, there is that X-Men connection there, but technically, you know, MCU and Fox now is sort of like
different.
Yeah,
I've actually got Dan Stevens potentially as another one, so that's interesting.
Okay. So yeah, I thought Dan Stevens could do the job.
Okay.
Can I just say at this moment in time, it seems like all of us have been circling a similar acting pool.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we're just like
leaving a lot left. They've used a lot of actors, so
that's true. No, but that said, I've got a lot. I mean, the actors that I can't think of, the ones you guys already thought of, are like TV actors, and I'm not sure people would know them. I mean, I like them a lot, but see, the idea behind them is that when you do sell that particular actor in a role, you need to sell it to the population, not just to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been thinking a bunch of actors. Like, for example, originally I was thinking of Christopher. What's his name is? He's played a bunch of roles in different shows. His name is Christopher Hydro. Do you know him?
Oh yeah. Canadian actor. Yeah, he's in
Canadian actor.
Yeah,
he's in everything. Now,
tell me something he's in. I can't. The name's not ringing bells.
Right, Christopher.
He's in like every Stargate.
He's in Stargate. He's in Supernatural. He's in Sanctuary. He basically crosses tons of TV shows, but he always comes in to do a particular role that kind of sits out, and he does it really well. And I mean, especially when it comes to prosthetic work and pretending to be, let's say, a Wolverine or something like that, or an angel that has fallen, or a devil that has fallen out of hell and been torturing somebody. Brilliant work, brilliant sound, but nobody knows it.
But I think that's fine. And I think the one thing about the X-Men is if you fill it with too many known actors, it's going to be it's just going to feel off. It's going to feel a little bit like an Ocean's 11 where you just try to get casting together. So I think you definitely need some unfamiliar faces in there, and people is like, I know I've seen you from somewhere, but maybe I can't quite place you. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So for me, there was two or three actually. One was Garrett Hedlund.
Oh, yeah.
from
Yeah.
Tron Legacy.
Yeah,
So
Tron
he's
Legacy.
a little bit older now. He's 36 and stuff like that. I thought he had the look and, you know, of sort of like Angel and be able to play that quite well. If I was going for something slightly different, I also had Dev Patel. And I was thinking really outside the box here in terms of casting, because I think he's a great actor. And I just actually saw Lion the first time the other day, and that stuck in my mind. I thought he was fantastic in that. And yeah, I just thought, you know, this could be a real opportunity for him. And again, just a different opportunity for the casting here. But the other one I had was actually Jesse Usher, who plays A-Train in The Boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually had him down as well, just because he can be quite arrogant, you know, with the rich boy persona, this, that, and the other. But then he can show some vulnerability in this and the other. So those are the three I had, depending on, you know, the blend of the team and how I was going to make that happen. Right. In terms of other characters, has anyone cast? Oh, okay, Storm. I know people have cast Storm. So let's move on to Storm. Who have we got?
I had only two people in mind.
Mm-hmm.
The first, like my number one draft pick, is Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, same here.
Right. And my second pick would have been Cynthia Erivo or Ervo.
Mm-hmm. What's she been in?
She's in the TV show Underground. She's in The Widows. You know the film with Viola Davis and Liam Neeson's in it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's the one with the blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two draft picks.
Okay, cool. Alex, so do you have anyone different?
The only other one, apart from obviously what's already been mentioned, was Soniqua Marketing Green from
Walking
Dead.
Down as well.
Discovery.
Those are this is like one of those memes. It's like you can copy my home, you know, you can follow my homework, but don't copy it exactly. You know, it's like yeah, Sonique Martin Green from Walking Dead, Star Trek. Yeah, she was my number two choice. So
Star Trek's coming back next week or 2 days from now or something. I don't know.
You just need someone that can sort of, you know, that's got that commanding presence, and obviously in Star Trek, she's, you know, got that.
Because there's big rumors that she's going to appear in Black Panther 2 as potentially the first place we're going to see Storm because of her ties with Wakanda, and but now without, I think it's going to be difficult to do if they don't recast Black Panther.
Yeah,
but you know, we'll have to wait and see what that brings. But she's definitely put her name forward, and she's as you know, she's someone who said, I want to play Storm. I've always wanted to play Storm. I've put my name forward, so it's kind of up to Marvel now. So yeah, Feige, got to make it happen. Who else have we got? What about Nightcrawler? Anyone cast Nightcrawler?
Wyatt. Oh, go on.
Go on. I'm gonna have to remember this guy's name anyway.
Wyatt Olef.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's Stanley in It. Kid, young Stanley in It. Because I'm like, Nightcrawler, for me personally, is someone who, you know, he's not sure of himself. He has self-esteem issues because, you know, he's freaking navy blue with a tail.
Yeah.
Right? And this is someone who is like, they're going to be quite kind of into themselves because, you know, they never really felt at home anywhere. There's someone who their mutation, they couldn't hide it. They've been blue with a tail since they were born. So there is they never had a sense of family. So they have to kind of learn to open up around these other people, this new family that they have in the X-Men. And I feel like the way he was in It, where he was like very much the outsider, even amongst that club, that's the guy.
Good shout. Alex, I'm afraid to ask, but go on.
Well, funny enough, a weird It connection there. I was thinking, because of the sort of the weird physicality that Nightcrawler usually has, Bill Skarsgård, who was Pennywise in It, has got that sort of lanky sort of limbs and stuff. And as I was like, you know, just trying to research for some ideas and stuff, I kept seeing a picture of Nightcrawler. I guess it's obviously I've not read X-Men comics in ages, but
Yes.
he looked, he's obviously a bit older in the comics now, stuff. But he's got like a sort of a bit of a weird bushy beard and stuff.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
right. Yeah.
he looks kind of like, I don't know, it's a little bit off, and so I just thought Skarsgård, with that sort of weird Pennywise sort of physicality.
Yeah, I've got Skarsgård down to somebody else. So,
Why?
so for Nightcrawler, I had either Rami Malek.
He was my second choice, actually. Funny enough.
That's a good pick.
So Rami Malek, again, if you combine his characters that he played in like iRobot and
You missed the robot, right?
I do that every time. Every time I mention Mr. Robot, I say iRobot, Mr. Robot. And then if you take that kind of vulnerability he showed when he did Bohemian Rhapsody, says Freddie Mercury and stuff like that. So I think he could play that. The other one I had was Timothy Chalamet, who's going to be he's in Dune. He's going to be in the remake of Dune and stuff like that. So he was the other person I had potentially for that. But I think Rami was my number one choice. Right. What about Rogue? Who have we got cast as Rogue? Southern Belle.
Only one choice for me.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Again, it's a bit of a DC crossover, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was Huntress in Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
I've got a Birds of Prey link for that.
I was like, initially I was thinking of like younger, because again, I wanted to try and have a mixture of sort of like slightly older characters and younger characters, but I'm not sure. I'm assuming like Rogue got her powers in the comics the same as, I'm going by the 90s cartoon here with the whole Captain Marvel situation. And so I was trying to think, if they do go down that road, need someone that could convincingly sort of, go sort of toe to toe a little bit with Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, just for that initial sort of touch to get a sort of a hit of her powers and stuff. So I just thought, I thought she was pretty decent as Huntress and could probably pull it off.
Cool, good shout. Anybody else for Rogue?
What do you guys think of Katie Cassidy?
Katie Cassidy.
She could be doing very well. She
played Canary for a couple of years, and she has that.
Oh, right, yeah. Katie Cassidy, yeah, of course, from Arrow and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's TV show. That's like, but at the same time, when she had played.
Definitely do it.
Sorry?
No, I was going to say, but she's been in films. She could definitely pull off a film.
Yeah, definitely. And not only that, I mean, she has done something similar. I mean, that particular character. So that can be done from that.
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking.
Don't ask me why, boys, but I had Journey Smollett.
Okay. Also from
who plays Canary in Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, I've been watching Lovecraft Country, and just watching her in that, I'm just like, yep. You need a hella strong character that you could be in a film that's going to get the backing, the budget, the exposure. That's not going to get treated the way Birds of Prey got treated.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, obviously, we were having a discussion earlier about changing, about whether you alternate someone's race or anything, and I'm just like, Southern Belle, yeah.
Okay, nice shout. So I actually had Alexandra Daddario. So one I had for Rogue. I just think she can bring. She could probably bring a powerful presence, and Rogue, for less of a better word, she's probably a little bit more of the pin-up character for the for the X-Men. And I wanted someone who'd be able to play off good banter with Gambit, and I looked a little bit at like Baywatch and how she had to get rejecting Zac Efron and stuff like that. And so I was just like, okay, let's see a little bit of that. The girl that a lot of men want but can't get kind of thing. So that's kind of who I went with. So speaking of Sal, did you have anyone for Rogue?
Well, no, I've already mentioned Katie Cassidy. Well, I was talking about it. Yes. I was actually going to say that. Have you guys seen Why Women Kill?
Why Women Kill?
No.
Right. It's got Lucy Liu. It's got Daddario in there as well, and I think it's got Drew Barrymore. No, I forget. No, it's not her. It's got a bunch of these actors, and they're playing past present and future sort of a character within a house, and
Oh,
why these women have went and gone to kill. And she plays a pretty cool and different role. I mean, basically, she actually plays a role rather than just being a pinup, and like Baywatch. So if you want to see how she acts, is a good example. They have a look because it's a really good show, and it's all female lead basically, but at the same time, it's simply that you don't know when they're about to break and about to kill, and that's the whole key of the whole show.
right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. What else have we got? So I mentioned him. So let's talk about Gambit. Who have we got for Gambit?
Who's gonna start?
Yeah, I got two. I had 3 names, but I honestly, one of them, I know I only picked him because of his voice.
Okay.
Was Lucas Black.
Oh,
all
okay.
right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's a Southern boy all day long, and I was just like, but he's not the guy. He's not the guy.
He's not.
The 2 guys who I did have in mind were, as I said, I mentioned him earlier, was Dacre Montgomery.
Yeah.
And the other one was, I think it's Thomas Capon, who's Frenchie in The Boys.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I had his name down and then I scribbled it out.
Yeah.
I did.
Frenchie in The Boys. I'm like, yeah. Because it's like seeing him in The Boys, and obviously the way he is with the female.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, Kamiko. The way he is in that, I'm like, that thing of, the guy who's like at one moment you're like, yeah, you're a complete perv, and then the other one you're like, no, but you got so much heart and there's so much about you, and it's like, you've done such wrong, but at the same time you had your own kind of moral code of why you did it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that duality, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see him in more stuff. He's an Israeli actor as well, so that's a good choice. Yeah, I had 2. One was Ross Butler. Now he played Zach in 13 Reasons Why.
Ah, okay.
So again, I went slightly different against potential cast, but I think he's got a great physique. He's got for me, he's one of the better actors in the show. I thought he was great. And I think he can play, like you said, that duality of that character where it verges on pervy, but he's actually from love. But yeah, I suppose most people for Gambit, they're going to want to hear the accent, so that's going to be quite important. The other person I had was Dan Stevens, so he was my other choice potentially for Gambit as well, because I think he could bring some.
I can see that. Yeah.
Anybody more for Gambit?
Not really. No, it's Channing Tatum, mate. What are you talking about? There's no.
You know what? I didn't even pause to think about Channing. I'm sorry, Channing. I never saw it. I never bought it, and I think Disney probably bought the rights to make sure you didn't do it.
I didn't like it. Literally, just the weird thing is, thinking of the whole Fox X-Men universe, he'd probably fit in as Gambit.
In the Fox one, he would. Do you remember they did that actual Vanity Fair cover where he was actually sat with all the X-Men characters because he was going to be doing the Gambit film?
Yeah.
They did a whole spreadsheet. This was happening, and then it's lost like 4 or 5 directors, writers, all sorts. So, but yeah, that's definitely not going to be happening.
Them people that are just like, I do not want this on my resume.
Yeah. It's like, I can see this not going well. Okay, did anybody cast Colossus, or are you thinking Deadpool Colossus, or what are you guys thinking about?
No, my Deadpool, for me, Deadpool has no place in the X-Men of the MCU.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, for me,
I've said the same on a previous episode. I think Tito's Gang podcast I mentioned it.
If you do multiverse, then maybe he can pop in and out at some point and like make his commentary. But I think all in all, what has been set up and established with Deadpool, it needs to be its own thing. It always needs to be its own thing. It can't be heavily connected. Like, let him as a character reference all the things that's going on, but I just don't want to see them side by side. I don't want to see the giant, the whatever the next Endgame is, I don't want to see him there as a character. Like maybe have a tiny little cameo, but nah, keep him separate because
yeah, I agree 100% with that, mate. Yeah, it's just he just doesn't mesh, and it's a shame really because obviously Deadpool was so great and has done so well that now that Fox doesn't have it, I don't know what they're going to do with Deadpool, but yeah, I'm in total agreement.
I mean, hopefully they will release it, but it'll be under one of their other, sub studios kind of thing.
Yeah, who knows?
Because
For that reason, I didn't go down a Colossus route, to be honest.
Yeah, because they still got Fox. Is it Fox Century or is it Fox?
No, 20th Century Studios now.
20th Century Studios. If they release it under that, then yeah.
See, you guys are missing a beat here because I think it'll be amazing to see that.
it would be great to see, but what it does is it breaks the tonality of the MCU.
But it has to be a Deadpool movie, right? It can't be an MCU, what I call from their point of view. It has to be from this guy's point of view.
You'd have to you'd have to have MCU characters cameo in a Deadpool movie.
That could work if you're going to do it that way.
Or better yet, fake instead of. Or better yet, start as an MCU movie and turn into a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, and I think what they did with the X-Men is like obviously they made the presence felt, but the whole cast of characters was literally in that room. You see, and they close the door. It's like yes, okay, there's a link here, but they're not going to interact because it would break that continuity. Marvel with a 10-year timeline to then suddenly have a character who's broken walls and made references to Hugh Jackman, pop culture, all this kind of stuff. It doesn't quite fit. But like I said, it's hopefully we'll see it in one format. But I say in a Deadpool. So for me, Colossus. One thing about Deadpool was Colossus was always Colossus. He was always changed. So I definitely want to see more of the actor as opposed to the others. But I wanted to go someone a little bit different. So I went Florane Muntinho. I don't know if that's how I pronounce it right. He played the son of Drogo in Creed.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's big guy. He's a boxer. He can be intimidating. Doesn't need a huge amount of lines. He's Romanian. He's kind of got that Eastern European Russian accent, and he can play into it. So from a physical presence point of view, and he'll be able to do the mocap stuff and all that kind of physicality as well. So he's who I had as Colossus.
That man Silver. I saw Creed 2. You dip him in some silver paint and let him beat up whoever you want.
Exactly. Just add. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be CG. So he's right for Colossus. Anything else on Colossus? Any other thoughts on that?
I couldn't come to it, man. Every time I started thinking Colossus, my brain just went back to John Cena. I'm like, that's not no. Because I keep on thinking of an imposing. Yeah, exactly. No, it's a funny thing because you think of the imposing figure, right? So you think, okay, which actor can have that? And every actor I can think of isn't exactly an actor. It's more of a wrestler or a guy who stands behind and beats up somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the only guys I could think of was like, well, it was The Rock and then John Cena. But every time I see Colossus from Deadpool, my brain goes John Cena because somehow I have superimposed his face onto his body. I don't know why. I know it's not the actor, but I keep on thinking that's him.
Right. Right. So a couple of other characters now. So Jubilee. So I cast Jubilee, and I went for Park Seo-dam. She was the daughter in Parasite. I think she's a very talented actress. Again, not very well known, and a great opportunity to take on that role. Did anybody else cast Jubilee?
No.
I just thought of Jamie Chung. She was Blink in the I can't remember the name of that show that was on Fox. It was X-Men-ish.
Gifted.
Gifted, yeah.
Gifted, that was the one, yeah. Yeah, she played Blink in that, and I thought, again, that show, she kind of got a bit shortchanged, so give her another shot in the X universe.
I was thinking of Andrea Bang, but I mean, she's kind of fits the bill, but not exactly. I wasn't really sure. Do you know who she is?
What's she been in? Okay,
she is in Kim's Convenience. You know, the guy who's playing, what's his name? Simu Liu? Who's playing... Who's the big Asian characters coming up in the movie?
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, now I know the face, so I couldn't place, the name.
Right,
okay.
Right. So his show is Kim's Convenience. It's still going, and again, it's going to keep on going for the next couple of years as well. It's brilliant comedy. If you guys want to watch this on Netflix, she plays the sister, and she's also quite dynamic, and she can do a lot of things. And I haven't really seen her anywhere else, and I thought it would be a great fit to throw her in the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've got creative control, my friend. You can do what you
Yeah.
like. Right. So, what about Kitty Pryde? Anybody cast Kitty?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is her name? It is Sophia Lillis. Lilius. Bev in It.
In It.
Oh, okay. Yes.
We seem to be covering 2 or 3 movies, man, and a TV show. It's been It or The Boys or Walking Dead.
I went for Natalia Dyer from Stranger Things. Oh, you got her as well.
Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah. So
Nancy
Natalia Dyer, Stranger Things. I think she not only just looks the part, I think just the way her character Chronicon sat in that show, I think is very relatable. And obviously, we're not always.
Is that Nancy?
Sorry.
Is that Nancy in
Nancy? Yeah.
Nancy. Yeah. So obviously, we're not just picking characters because obviously they've played other characters who are similar, and we think they can do it. But just her screen presence, and I think she's just at the right age for that character and stuff like that. She's like 25. So yes, that kind of works for me. Right, so let's move on to some of the big hitters. Right, we'll start off with Mystique. Who's cast Mystique?
I had a couple of choices for that.
2 lined up for her.
Probably number 1, Charlize Theron. But
Yeah.
if that's sort of like too big a name, because I don't think Mystique would be necessarily a big part of it. There was a comic that Mystique had years ago where it was very much, she was almost like Black Widow, where she was like a spy, assassin, this kind of thing. So she's like maybe in the background doing Black Ops stuff or whatever, and you want to go a slightly lesser known, although still a well-known actress. Alicia Vikander was my other choice.
She was my first choice.
She sort of she got the muscles and stuff when she did Tomb Raider,
Mm-hmm.
so she's got the physicality there, and not probably quite as high profile, and the bank that Charlize Theron with.
Well, she'd take a large chunk of the budget, wouldn't she? Yeah. So Alicia Vikander, she was my first choice, and the second choice I had was Natalie Dormer.
Okay.
Game of Thrones and stuff like that. I think she can just do evil. I think and sinister looking and that kind of stuff. So, so Natalie Dormer. She was also in Hobbs and Shaw, wasn't she? I think so.
Oh yeah.
And wasn't she in Mission Impossible? I think she was in Mission Impossible as well. I'll have to check that now.
I was thinking Catherine Winnick.
We have
Catherine Winnick.
Okay. Yeah, I had her
from
for
Vikings. All right.
From Vikings, yeah.
Yeah, Viking. Because I was thinking of 2 people. They're quite different. One's that, and one's the what's her name? Pedilaki. What's her name? She's doing
Adriana.
Adriana, that's it. Yeah.
She has the Mockingbird or whatever, wasn't she? In Shield.
Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on Agent of Shield, and she's now doing Seth MacFarlane's TV show, the space show.
Oh yeah, Orville.
Yeah. Orville. Yeah. She's playing. She's playing second to him, really, in the show.
She was Wonder Woman for a pilot TV show.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, was she?
Yeah. It wasn't. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen, but it was clearly.
Oh yeah, I've never seen it actually.
Yeah, but I find Catherine Winnick as a better actor though.
See, I had Olivia Wilde.
Okay.
As first round, and Isa Gonzalez.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Remind me where she.
Isa Gonzalez. She's in Baby Driver. She's in
Dust Till Dawn, the TV show.
On the TV show.
Ah, okay. Cool. Got it.
Yeah. So the other one I had, because that's why I'm getting these 2 mixed up. What she was in, Vanessa Kirby.
Yeah.
That's who else I had Mystique. She was in sort of like Mission Impossible and stuff like that.
And The Crown. Yeah.
And The Crown, and she was in Hobbs.
Yeah.
So the other one I was thinking of. So okay. I think we've all gone slightly older with Mystique, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's because of the nature of the character. She can be any age.
That's it, exactly. Exactly, because she's not herself for that much of the movies, is she? So, okay. So what order are we? I'm going to leave these 2 to the end. So, I looked at casting Mr. Sinister. as
Yep.
well, just because. And also the Toad. So Mr. Sinister, I had two. I had Andrew Scott, who was Moriarty in Sherlock.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my other choice was Colin Firth.
Sure.
Okay.
I want to see him play some
Good
baddie.
I like Mark Shepard for that.
Probably be Nathaniel.
Good shout.
Yeah, because he plays evil in everything, and he sounds evil half the time.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you speak nice, it sounds like he's an asshole. You know what I mean?
yeah. Any more for Mr. Sinister?
Yes, I had 3 choices.
Mhm.
Oh,
In order going backwards up, I had in 3rd place Christoph Waltz.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
Right. Because I was literally in my head, I was just merging his doctor from Elita and
are you talking about the
Julie
Tarantino movie?
from, huh?
The Tarantino movie?
Yeah, from
But-
Inglorious Bastards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see he's thinking about it.
In 2nd place, I had Sholto Copley.
That name rings a bell. What have they
I
been in?
can't place it.
District 9.
9.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Ever since I saw Elysium, I'm like, I need you as a
You
bad
brought
guy.
him up a couple of times.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I remember that now. Yeah,
Elysium,
exactly.
I need you as a bad guy in something. I just need to see you as a bad guy, like for a long, extended period of time. And as I
He
was
is
saying,
really good. Because
in my cut of the X-Men films, he's the villain in the first film, and he's the villain in the last film.
because I mean,
That's a really
because in District 9 he's nice. As Elysium he's bad, and in that what do you call A-Team, he's just hilarious. I mean, the guy is good.
But I think my number 1 pick for Mr. Sinister is Giancarlo Esposito.
right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting shout. I have him as a possibility for another character as well. Okay. Yeah. No, I can see that. I mean, he's just brilliant in whatever he does. So,
Exactly.
any more for Mr. Sinister?
No, didn't have Mr. Sinister on my list.
So I went. I was trying to think of some villain. I went for the Toad, and that's where I went for Skarsgård. So I had him down as the Toad, because I think he's just got that physical performance about him. That could work.
As a different person.
Anybody else for the Toad?
I didn't really think about him.
Nope.
Okay, so we're down to 3. I'm gonna leave this one to the end. Now, these two, I went back and forth so many damn times. Professor X and Magneto.
Yeah,
Right.
I got them selected out.
I've got so many options. Now, this is where I went with it. So, for me, I'm looking at the way the MCU's has been. I'm thinking about how much we've seen of the X-Men and the way that it's been done previously, and we've seen it a couple of times now, that the Magneto that we know with the links back to Germany, this, that, and the other. I'm thinking potentially I'm going to bring it forward and base it on the civil rights movement.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
All right.
Okay, so this is where I've kind of changed it around. And I had, because I was like, I don't want to be too on point, and I want to reverse a little bit. So I actually had Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X.
Right, yeah.
And Jeffrey Wright as Magneto.
Oh, that's good.
I had them cast in those roles. Now I have other ones, because depending if that's not the right way I want to go with each of them. But I was also looking at Ralph Fiennes. He can do either.
I had the same thing.
He could be both. For Professor X, I was also looking at Sean Bean, Ewan McGregor. I even considered Daniel Craig.
I considered him for Magneto, actually.
Interesting. And then Magneto, I also had, like I say, Ralph Fiennes, Denzel, I considered. And Nicolas Costa-Waldau, who was in Game of Thrones. Third season, the hand kind of thing. So yeah. So where do you guys go with Professor X and Magneto?
Gentlemen?
I've been confused. Like I couldn't really think of anything. Every time I thought of something, I was like, "No, that's just retarded," and I have no. I couldn't nail it down. Let's put it that way.
It's hard to get
for a
past
moment,
Patrick Stewart, right?
yeah. Because for a moment, I was like, "Well, I like the chemistry between what's his face, David Tennant and Michael Sheen, and that would be funny because they can do both and they can play either. I mean, I'd rather have David Tennant as Magneto, as an evil person, and then Michael Sheen as Professor X, and that would be funny because that would be even funny. I mean, it would be good because they have done it, and they sort of done it.
Yeah,
and they've sort of done the other version as well as and staged. If you guys have seen it, and then at the same time, I was thinking of turning them to two old men and have them as Denzel Washington and what's his name? Oh my God, my brain just went. Morgan.
Oh, Morgan, right? Okay.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Just two really old guys compared, and everybody else, what I call young, and that would also kind of put it in perspective of their lives that as of old lives and nowadays.
Yeah.
Because it'll be completely different to everybody else.
Yeah. Okay. Alex, Neil, what do you have?
Well, having not had any input in the previous episode, so not thinking about how they're being introduced, I wasn't thinking like context-wise or anything like that. I was just let's just go for this. So Professor X, same as you had Ray Fiennes as potential. To be honest, I even had him as Magneto if you didn't have him as Professor X. So I think he could.
Yeah,
he could definitely do both. Also,
there you go, dual character. He could play the. He could play.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Mark Strong was another one I thought of with Professor X.
Yeah.
I liked him as he was Merlin in Kingsman, so he's got that sort of mentor sort of role in that. Stanley Tucci was another one I was thinking, which could have been quite interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I also had the Giancarlo Esposito, just because he's always plays bad, so it'd be interesting to see him actually be the opposite and be good. But then if you know, like obviously in the comics with things like X-Force and stuff, Xavier does have that sort of darker side where he's got things going on off the books.
Yeah, that's it. He's not white. He's not white character, is he? He's just like,
so you could then have that sort of links with like maybe Mystique and stuff going on. So you need someone that could do that as well. Magneto, I think probably my top pick, Jason Isaacs. I think he's in a lot of stuff, but gets quite underrated. I think.
Yeah, it's a good show.
He's really good though.
I just think he could do.
He
something.
was really good in. Wasn't he also in Star Trek?
Yes, he was actually. Yeah. He played the the guy from the Mirror Universe. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, good show.
And as I say, Daniel Craig for some reason just I don't know. I think because he's got a similar look to Jason Isaacs. So when I was thinking of Jason Isaacs, I was thinking, okay, if he didn't do it, who else? And again, just I mean, Daniel Craig's done a variety of stuff anyway, but he tends to be more on the good side of things. So again, just to sort of flip it a little bit and go sort of full villain.
Cool. Neil, who'd you have?
Well, for me, I had traditional, and then I had switching it up. And my switching it up, like you can, was like, okay, we're just gonna put this in the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
So my traditional for Xavier, it was Bryan Cranston.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, because I'm just like, even though it's kind of like, oh, it's on the head, because like his most famous role, he plays a bald, really intelligent guy. But I'm like, I think people are missing the actual trick of watching Breaking Bad and seeing Walter White have that dark side. I'm like, I want right in that middle ground between the school teacher and the drug kingpin. That middle ground is Xavier.
Yeah.
Right. So he was my traditional Xavier, and then I had I say 3.5 for my my non-traditional, and those three were Joe Morton.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Courtney
For our listeners, what's he been in?
Oh, he was in Terminator 2 as Miles Dyson, in Justice League as Silas Stone. Right. So him, Courtney B. Vance, who's in he's in Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
Right, but he's been in so many things that everyone has seen him in something. and I think even though this person is white, Timothy Dalton.
Oh, shout.
Right.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. So those were my Professor X's, and my Magnetos were Mark Strong.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
All right.
Right. As traditional, and as non-traditional, it was Kenneth Williams, I think it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Him. He was like from The Wire. He's also in Lovecraft Country. You can tell I'm really enjoying Lovecraft Country.
I was gonna say, you've been watching a lot of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But my number one draft pick would be Denzel.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Absolutely. Like I just feel like, especially transitioning, and the thing is to transition it from that World War II to the Civil Rights Movement. It's just like it's perfectly positioned because the man played Malcolm X in a film.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you channel some of that Malcolm X, that just like, I'm intelligent, I'm willing, or I'm prepared that if I need to, I'll do whatever is necessary. But let's not get to wherever anything is necessary. That is just Denzel.
I can imagine him in the movie, like when he's chatting to Xavier, he'll be just like, the humans, they'll turn on you. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
They turn on you, Charles. They turn on you, right? They were like, I've seen it happen before.
Brilliant. Okay. Before we move on to probably the most difficult character to cast, has anybody got anybody else that they touched on that they want to mention?
Yes, I had Morph.
Oh, yeah.
I had Morph, Dazzler, and Sabretooth, and Leech.
Okay, I forgot Sabretooth,
Yeah, because I can't.
I've got a Sabretooth in mind.
I tried to.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, let's see. All right, so who have you got for what? Go on.
Right, okay, so let's see. For Dazzler, don't judge me, boys, don't judge me. I had 3 picks. Cara Delevingne.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. She's been in.
She was
Carnival.
in Carnival Row. Yeah,
Yeah.
Carnival Row. Taylor Swift.
So you've gone for the tall
Wow,
blondes.
okay.
I need a pop star. I need a proper pop star, right? Or Miley Cyrus.
Wow.
Because I'm like, Dazzler's a pop star, and in a weird way, I want that someone who's been a pop star, who's had that pressure on them of like one news story could really just shit up your whole career.
Okay.
And the fact is that for my Dazzler, she starts out as a pop star. It's revealed she's a mutant, and everything goes to hell for her.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus kind of fits that bill, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, you can just claim that right now.
Yeah. For Morph, I had Bill Skarsgård as one pick, and I had Pete Davidson.
Oh, right.
That's a name that rings a bell.
Yeah, I think he's on Saturday
SNL.
Night Live. Yeah, Saturday Night Live, and he's in a film.
Staten Island King.
Oh,
King of Staten Island.
Yeah.
So then,
He's actually going to be in the Suicide Squad as well.
Yes.
Oh, is
Yes.
it?
Right. Yeah. And I'll get Leech. I had I think his name is Jackson Robert Scott. He is really young. He is Georgie Dembro in It. So he's the little brother who gets killed.
Oh, okay. So he's the one who loses. He's the one who loses the arm right at the beginning.
Yeah. Right. He'd be Leech.
Okay.
Right. But for my Sabretooth, I have my man, Michael J. White.
Nice. I think for me, I considered it earlier, and it was like, Momoa is just again too on the nose for me. So I wouldn't cast him as that, but I'd probably rather see him as Craven in that kind of mold rather than Sabretooth. But Cool. Okay, some good shouts. So who did you have for Sabretooth, Alex?
I had Rory McCann, the Hound from Game of Thrones.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay, like that, like that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
the only other character I had was Emma Frost. Which,
oh, of course, yeah. Who have you got?
Again,
For
I had that Catherine Wennick or Rosamund Pike, if you wanted to go.
Ah,
You see,
Yeah.
for me, the only person who played my Emma Frost would have been Charlize Theron.
That's okay. Charlize Theron for that. Yeah, interesting choices there. Yeah, totally. There's just so many damn characters. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Okay, so we'll say the most complicated, probably the biggest, the deal till last. Wolverine. Now, everyone's been skipping this podcast to get to this part. I know that. So I don't care about
We
these.
already covered Wolverine. I mean, we mentioned it. We was like the third person we mentioned. Why? It's not my fault people skipped it.
It's. I think for me, I actually don't want to see Wolverine probably for a couple of movies because he's been the center point for so many. But then at the same time, I was thinking, well, then if you bring him in later, does that make him a bigger character than he needs to be?
Yeah.
So by having him part of the original team, he's not bigger than anybody else in the team. Because I think obviously the first movie, what they did was it was like they had this team, this school, and it's Wolverine coming into that. So I actually thought, nah, I'm probably gonna have to start having him around in the background. But for me, I wanted to keep him quite unknown. Now, so for me, I'm just gonna give a shout out to Sasha because all he's ever spoken about is Scott Eastwood as doing Wolverine.
I knew that would come up.
And I was like, I have to shout out on this episode because he's not here. So Sasha, that that's for you. He's not for me. I tried to have a look and see who's got some acting, who's got the right build, and I came across this one, and it's Milo Gibson. It's I don't know if have any of you heard of Milo Gibson?
Name doesn't ring a bell, no.
He is Mel Gibson's son.
Oh.
Now he's
right now.
if you search him now, and for those of you listening as well, I'm sure you will as well.
Hell,
he
can't lie about who his dad is.
No, he looks so much like his dad.
Yeah.
If you look at the trailer for All the Devil's Men, or if you've seen the movie for All the Devil's Men, that for me is very much some Wolverine characteristics there. He's got that Australian accent, which I can dig. I can have that in the movie as well. I'll be like, leaning.
Why? He's Canadian.
Is he Canadian? Of course, because I'm thinking Mel Gibson. Yeah, but
yeah.
So he was obviously born in Canada. Fine, my mistake. But
no, I mean Wolverine. Wolverine is Canadian.
Wolverine's Canadian. Sorry, yeah. But if you think back to the original,
thinking Hugh Jackman with the Australian accent.
Yeah,
yeah. So with the original cartoon, I don't know if you remember, they had that. They went for like an Australian accent.
Yeah, I remember. And I remember
that is so strange.
Passed the pilot.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't pass. But for me, if you listen, because I think one for me, Wolverine is also the tone of voice is really important. He's got quite a deep tone. He's going to be able to have that savage part about him. But yeah, check him out in All the Devil's Men. If you don't want to watch the movie, check out the trailer. He's my choice for Wolverine at this moment because he's just not well known enough that he can make the role his own, as opposed to being compared to a lot of other things, which I think is going to be the hardest part because automatically everyone's going to compare him to Jackman. And also, he's not that tall; he's only about 5'7", so that plays into that character.
Eases the fans.
Yeah. So that's my Wolverine. Who else have you got?
I took a left turn.
Go on.
All right. So I thought, again, something completely different out of the way because you can't judge Wolverine anymore. I mean, as soon as you have a white guy, you're gonna go, yeah. So he kind of does he kind of look like him? Does he not look like him? So I thought, how about Ricky Whittle for American Gods?
Okay.
You guys know? Yeah. So he's he's what I call British black actor, and he's rough and gruff. So he's got the posture, he's got the voice, And he could do this. So what they call the acting too. I mean, I mean, if you have seen American Gods and you have seen a couple of other shows, I think he's been in The 100, and I think he's. Where else was he? I mean,
I've seen
I
him
remember
briefly in The
just
100 because I watched a few episodes of that. I haven't seen American
right.
Gods,
Yeah,
but I know him from
Well,
Hollywood.
So, I think he really did that.
there we go. So yeah, so I like him.
Interesting choice. All right, yeah, that's left field, and yeah, I can dig that. All right,
Because I wanted somebody that you cannot, what do you call compared to?
compare to Jack.
Yeah, exactly. Because when as soon as you see him, you don't think of anybody else. You look at the guy. That's it.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what I wanted. And he's a good enough actor as well. And in American Gods, he's shown he's got a lot of variety of chops in him. Let's put it that way.
Okay, cool. Right, who else we got?
Right. Well, obviously the fan favorite out there in the interwebs is Tom Hardy, but again, I don't want to go down that route. Although I think he would be fantastic, but again, with this whole Spider-Verse thing, he's going to be Venom and all that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I went going back to The Boys. Anthony Starr, who is Homelander.
Yeah.
I
That's
saw
a
a bit
great
of fan
shout.
art the other day, and it was like, oh damn, man. He's like, he looked really
He
good.
was actually my second choice, as in for somebody who's more well known.
Yeah.
And yeah, because not many people see much of Anthony Starr prior to The Boys, but I watched him in what was that one where he took on the identity of the sheriff?
He was in Banshee. I've not seen it, but I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
I've seen like screenshots of it and the odd trailers and stuff. And he even, to me, in that with his like shaved down head, he looks a little bit like Jackman is X-24 when he's like the clone with the hair shaved down.
In that show he plays it's not a spoiler because it's the first thing in the episode. He basically takes on the identity of a new sheriff that's moving to a town, and he's just come out of prison. So he's playing a sheriff when he's not one, and he's just blagging it the whole way through. So but you see he has that soft side to him, that caring side for people that treat him well, but then he's got a savage side to him as well, which will just take people out. And I think that's pretty much why he got cast for The Boys, because he showed he has that. And yeah, he would be my second choice for someone. If you needed a bit more of a name for pulling power, that would be a shout. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, obviously I know he's doing well with The Boys, but I don't even think he's like that
He's
big
not a household name at all.
Given
No,
that,
not at all.
It's Homelander to most people.
Exactly that.
Yeah. So I think
So Neil, it's all comes down to you.
I got two picks.
Bring it home.
One who's older, because I feel like the nature of Wolverine is that he's been alive so long that I just think having someone who exudes that badassness, but is like, just by the look of them, they're significantly older, was Joe Manganiello.
Oh yeah,
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke for the DC.
Deathstroke from DC, where I'm like, look, we ain't got no guarantees that we ever gonna see him again as Deathstroke. So I'm like, he's ready.
Deathstroke in the Arrowverse, isn't he? Yeah. So
no, he's not Deathstroke in the Arrowverse. He's Deathstroke in Justice League.
Oh, I'm getting confused. Right. Oh,
No,
sorry. I'm thinking of something different. Yeah.
Manu Bennett is the one from
yes, Manu Bennett. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
But no, not him. And the other one, someone who's younger, but I feel like good and gruff. But technically, they've already been in the MCU. Is Logan Marshall Green?
I know that name.
Yeah. He's always referred to as like the cheaper Tom Hardy or whatever.
Unfortunately,
he was in Upgrade. He was really good.
Upgrade. Like after seeing Upgrade
and Prometheus,
and he's in Prometheus.
Upgrade, Prometheus. But I mean, he was in Homecoming as like the original Shocker, the one who gets turned to dust.
That's right.
Right.
He's kind of blinking and miss it, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what.
Enough that you could actually, use him and not think about that link. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's the thing. Even if people do, I'm like, I got creative control.
Carl Urban, looks good in that position as well because he's rough and gruff and the same, But it's just too close.
Yeah, Carl Urban's a good shout. He is a bit close. I think that for me, he's probably just a little bit too old. He's pushing 50.
Yeah.
So I think just from obviously because we want these characters around for like the next 10 years or so. So I'm just conscious that going that old may prove a little bit of an issue. But going back actually, Manu Bennett, he's not a bad shout either actually.
No, he's
Again,
pretty
he's
good.
51, so he's a bit older now.
Yeah.
Because he was brilliant in Spartacus.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
I
Yeah.
loved him in that. Okay. Well, speaking of Spartacus, maybe we need like a bad John Hannah back because he was brilliant in that as well.
He could be
we-
Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, he could be a Mr. Sinister, to be fair. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Okay. Any more for any more?
Okay.
We've cast our X-Men. So
Done, yeah.
there's a lot of continuity through there. I think we've picked a lot of actors. Some actors were interchanging in between roles, and that's going to be a given. And I think that, I think we've done well. I think Marvel, you know, if you got this list, you can't go wrong.
I like to say one thing that you guys were mentioning, if you know, that not to bring in any of the old actors. I mean, you potentially can, but not in the same what are called, obviously not in the same roles, but you can bring them as something else, especially if people don't think of them right off the bat when they think of that movie. You can easily bring those because there have been other actors who have been in the previous ones and come in the new ones, but people didn't remember they were in the last one, even though they had a significant
Like
screen
James
time.
Bond playing Cyclops' dad or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that reminds me. I did have one person picked. Havoc. I picked Nicholas Hamilton, who plays he plays the bully in It. I can't remember his name.
You just watched it recently, haven't you?
Honestly, I haven't. Well, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, it's October. We in the Halloween month. I'm gonna watch it. But no, it was more just like because I was picking young actors. I was looking at like young ensemble casts. So it was like It came up as one of those young ensemble casts. It was like, yeah, It, Stranger Things I looked at. And I was just like, yeah, let me just pluck the gold from here.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Okay. Also, there's another actor because again, I've just watched The Gentleman recently, which I thought was fantastic. It is one of my best films of 2020. And
Didn't I tell you?
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I need to find the casting right for Henry Golding. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you this? I told you the guy who literally was what I call on BBC Travel Show. That's what he did, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I told you like Crazy Rich Asians. He didn't really have a role at all in this, though. I mean, he got him acting and he got him doing a good job. It was really cool.
Yeah. Well, he's actually supposed to be in the upcoming Snake Eyes movie.
Yeah.
As well, and he was in Crazy Rich Asians and stuff like that. So, I definitely find a part for him there, and I loved him. I loved him as the bad guy thing.
I don't know if I was a video or I read something that there's rumors of him. I don't know if it's like actually in the running, but people are like talking about him as throwing him in the hat for Bond as well. If they wanted to change up.
Cool. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. But Cavill's my man for Bond. We'll do an episode in the future of recasting Bond because I was going to do it sooner, but obviously with No Time to Die not yet out, I want to see how that finishes, and then we'll talk about some Bonds for the future because they won't announce the next Bond until that's been released for sure.
We can do before and after.
It finishes the way all of them finish, with him smashing some young filly at the end of the film.
One for the road.
That's it. All right. Okay, so that's it for today's show. Thanks for joining me, guys. Much appreciated. If people want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
You can find me in basically at SAL_F1 at any of the social medias.
You can find me on Shoot for Moon Pics on Instagram. That's it.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Lex_Damon.
Cool. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kenan Talks Film. Please let us know your thoughts on this episode in the comments section on YouTube. Let us know and suggest movies for us to discuss in the future. You can catch all our previous episodes and future episodes on YouTube. You just need to find us on the YouTube channel Kenan Talks Film. But if you want to listen to the podcast only, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music and Audible, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and many, many more platforms. So hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have downloaded this podcast, please give us a review, or make sure if you're on YouTube, if you hit that like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell to get notified. And please share our podcast around to social media, all your friends and family, even people you don't know. If you thought this episode sucked, then my question is, why are you still here? So thanks very much. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.